The laughter was cruel. It bounced off the bakery walls like gunshots, sharp and unforgiving. "Yo, look at this guy," one of the boys shouted, phone raised. The old man didn't turn around. He stood at the edge of the sidewalk, clutching a plain brown bag, his shoulders hunched under a worn navy coat. The seagulls overhead circled in silence. The streets of Stratford, usually slow and sleepy, were watching. From behind the phone's camera, Tanner Bell laughed louder. "This dude looks like he crawled out of a museum," said Royce Mendon, snapping gum between his teeth. A third voice joined in, Liam Vallon, always the echo. "Where's your cane, Grandpa? You forget how to walk straight?" The fourth one, Cade Rowland, didn't say much. He just leaned against the lamp post, chewing sunflower seeds, eyes blank. But the one holding the phone, he mattered the most. Tanner was the spark, the one with followers. He tilted the lens, framing the shot for maximum embarrassment. The man, Elias Rowe, turned. Slowly, his eyes, dull and steady, locked onto the camera. He said nothing. Tanner zoomed in, grinning. "What's your name, Gramps? Speak up." Still silence. Elias only glanced down at the brown paper bag in his hand. Then he walked past them. No words. No flinch. No anger. Tanner uploaded the video an hour later. He captioned it, "Grandpa forgets where he is old, #WalkingLDead, #Stratford fails." He expected a few laughs. Some likes. Maybe a repost or two. He did not expect fire. The backlash started with a single comment. "Do you even know who that man is?" Then another. "Delete this. You just humiliated a legend." Then the reposts began. By nightfall, the video had over 2 million views. Not because it was funny, but because Elias Rowe wasn't just some old man. He was Commander Elias Rowe, retired U.S. Navy SEAL, recipient of the Silver Star, Bronze Star, and Navy Cross. A man who'd led a classified rescue mission in 1984, saving 12 POWs from a jungle hellhole no one could pronounce. His photo was now side by side with screenshots from the video. Same face. Different time. In one, his spine was bowed under age. In the other, it was straight under battlefield gear, eyes painted with resolve. And the people of the internet did not forgive. Tanner Bell couldn't sleep. His DMs were flooded with hate. His phone buzzed every 3 seconds. Classmates ignored him. Teachers stared too long. His own father didn't speak at dinner. "I didn't know," Tanner whispered once to his mother. She looked at him. Not angry. Not sympathetic. Just tired. That's the problem. News vans parked outside the bakery the next morning. Interviewers lined up at Elias's door. He declined every one. "No comment," he told them. But he said something else. Just once. Off camera. To the boy behind the counter at the bakery. "Don't blame them," Elias said, voice quiet but firm. "It's not just their fault. We taught them to forget." The other boys tried to spin it. Royce deleted all his socials. Liam called it a prank gone wrong. Cade didn't say anything at all. But none of it mattered. The damage was done. If you're enjoying this story, kindly do us a favor and subscribe to our channel. It is free and won't cost anything, but it means the world to us. We're just a small channel trying to grow. Thank you, and back to the video. Some nights, Tanner couldn't walk into a room without hearing whispers. Disrespectful. Entitled. Coward. But what haunted him most wasn't the judgment. It was the way Elias had looked at him. Not with anger. With disappointment. 3 weeks passed. Then someone spray-painted a mural. It appeared overnight, on the wall of the high school gym. A massive portrait of Elias in uniform. Below it, in red, "Age does not erase valor." Tanner stopped going out. He quit the basketball team. Started missing classes. At first, people thought he was hiding. He wasn't. He was watching. Watching hours of interviews, old documentaries, archived footage. Learning. Not about war. About Elias. About what it meant to be silent and still hold power. The others moved on. Or tried to. But one by one, they began to break. Royce got into a fistfight after someone called him a grave dancer. Liam dropped out. Cade vanished, transferred schools without telling anyone. But Tanner stayed. And slowly, his silence became a question mark. What was he waiting for? 6 months later, rain pelted the roof of the bakery like drumfire. Elias sat near the window, reading a book in silence. Then the door opened. A cold breeze rolled in. Tanner stood in the doorway. Thin, pale, clutching a folder to his chest. The cashier froze. Elias didn't look up. Not right away. Tanner stepped forward, boots squeaking against the wet floor. Mr. Rowe. Elias glanced up. Tanner's voice cracked. I know I don't deserve your time. He opened the folder. Inside, letters. Dozens. No, hundreds. All handwritten. Tanner placed the folder gently on the table. These are from students across the country, he said. They saw the video. They thought about how they treated their grandparents, their teachers, even strangers. They wrote apologies. They asked me to give them to you. Elias stared at the pages. One read. I screamed at my grandma because she forgot my birthday. I cried after I saw what happened to you. I'm sorry. Another. You reminded me that just because someone is old doesn't mean they're weak. I used to rush past elderly people on the sidewalk. Not anymore. Elias didn't speak. Tanner reached into his coat, pulled out a thick envelope. He set it next to the letters. $47,000, he said. Collected online. All donated by people who said you inspired them. It's for the veterans' home on Brookline. Elias was quiet. The rain tapped louder. Then, after a long pause, he said, Why did you come here today? Tanner swallowed. Because I needed to do more than be sorry. I needed to be useful. Elias nodded once. He reached out. Tanner flinched. But Elias wasn't striking. He was offering his hand. Slowly, Tanner took it. His fingers trembled. And for the first time since that day, Elias spoke directly to him. I think you finally got the lesson. It should have ended there. But it didn't. The next day, Tanner received a letter in the mail. No return address. Just a wax seal stamped with a trident. Inside, a note. 6 words. Come alone. Bring nothing but truth. There was also a location. An old warehouse on the far edge of Strathford. Abandoned. Forgotten. Tanner hesitated. Then he went. The warehouse creaked under the weight of time. Inside, it was dark. Cold. Dusty. A single light bulb swung from the ceiling. And under it, Elias Rowe, standing tall. No cane. No weakness. Just presence. Tanner stepped forward. What is this? Elias didn't answer. Instead, from the shadows, 2 more men emerged. Both older. One wore a leather bomber jacket. The other had military tattoos snaking up his arms. Tanner stepped back. The man with the tattoos spoke. You think one apology and a fat check makes things right? Tanner shook his head quickly. No, I don't. Good, said the man. Because this isn't about right. It's about what comes next. Elias finally stepped into the light. You embarrassed more than just me, he said. You insulted every man and woman who ever served. Every brother who didn't come home. Tanner's breath hitched. This isn't punishment, Elias said. It's an invitation. The bakery door creaked open, and Tanner stepped inside, clutching a worn folder. The aroma of fresh bread filled the air, but the usual warmth was absent. Elias stood behind the counter, his eyes narrowing as he recognized Tanner. I didn't expect to see you here, Elias said, his voice steady. Tanner swallowed hard. I have something for you. He opened the folder, revealing a stack of handwritten letters. These are apologies from people across the country. They saw the video and realized how they've mistreated elders. They asked me to give these to you. Elias took the letters, his hands trembling slightly. He read a few, his expression unreadable. And this, Tanner continued, pulling out an envelope, is $47,000 in donations for the veterans' home you mentioned. Elias looked up, his eyes moist. That's unexpected. Tanner nodded. I wanted to make amends. Elias extended his hand. Perhaps you've learned something. If you're enjoying this story, kindly do us a favor and subscribe to our channel. It is free and won't cost anything, but it means the world to us. We're just a small channel trying to grow. Thank you, and back to the video. The screen blinked. Elias stared at it in silence. The video played again. Slower this time. Frame by frame. Not just humiliation. Not just mockery. There was something else, hidden in the background. A blur behind Tanner's outstretched phone. A man, just over Elias's shoulder, half shielded by shadow and scaffolding. Unmoving. Watching. And smiling. Elias didn't know the face. But something about the posture. It clawed at a memory long buried beneath uniform stitches and classified orders. He hit pause. Zoomed in. The eyes were dead. But alert. A contradiction only soldiers understood. I've seen him before, Elias whispered. Tanner, standing awkwardly nearby, leaned in. Who is he? Elias didn't answer. He was already moving. That evening, the bakery was quiet. Closed early. The lights were off, save for a single bulb above the back kitchen sink. Elias stood inside, gripping the old metal frame of the prep table like a lifeline. He called an old number. The line clicked. Then, "Ro? That really you?" "Clay," Elias said. "I need a favor. God, it's been years. Thought you were dead." "Maybe I was," Elias muttered. "Listen, I need facial recognition run through old archives. Private sector stuff. 1990s forward. Surveillance overlap, security firms, military contractors." "Jesus, what are you mixed up in?" Elias paused. "Someone showed up the day those boys filmed me. He wasn't one of them. He was waiting." Clay's tone changed. "Send me the image." 5 minutes later, Elias did. The reply came 4 hours later. Encrypted. Bones. Name, Dominic Red. Former PMC. Disavowed 2003. Elias froze. That name. Red. That wasn't just a man. That was a ghost. Years ago, too many now, there was an op that never made the news. A black site in the Balkans. A cleanup job gone wrong. Elias was there. Red was too. Only Red didn't follow the mission. He went off script. He didn't just kill. He enjoyed it. Command tried to scrub it, but Elias had seen the aftermath. Children. Civilians. No tactical reason. Just cruelty. And Red had smiled. Just like in the bakery video. "What does he want now?" Tanner asked when Elias told him the name. "I don't know," Elias said. "But people like him don't just watch for no reason. He was there for me." Tanner went pale. "You think he followed you?" No, Elias's jaw tightened. "I think he never left." Within a week, a package arrived at Elias's apartment. No return address. No posti. Just a box. Inside, an old photo. A unit from decades ago. Elias in the center. Red 2 rows behind. The faces had been slashed with red ink. Every man but 2, Elias and Red. At the bottom, in jagged marker. "Only one of us walks away, old man." Tanner read it, silent. Elias said nothing. But his hands, scarred and steady, clenched tighter than they had in years. "This isn't about the video anymore," Tanner whispered. "No," Elias said. "This is war." The next week unfolded like a bad dream. Elias was invited to speak at a National Veterans Summit. News crews, senators, all watching. Tanner went too, quietly filming a follow-up for his own channel, now rebranded and dedicated to elder respect and reform. Security was tight. Too tight. Elias didn't like it. Too many badges. Too many radios. Too much protocol, and yet not enough attention. Someone was buying time, setting something up. He knew the signs, felt them in his bones. Halfway through his speech, it happened. A flicker from the catwalk above. A shadow that didn't match the others. Elias paused. Looked up. A red laser that hovered over his chest. For just a second, then vanished. He kept speaking, voice unwavering. Because fear, he'd learned long ago, was only fuel when handled right. Backstage chaos. Security swept the place. No shooter. No rifle. No evidence. But Elias knew. Red was here. Watching again. Closer this time. That night, Elias didn't go home. Neither did Tanner. They sat in the bakery, just the two of them. The scent of old flour and lemon glaze still clung to the air, a strange comfort. Tanner leaned forward. "Why didn't you tell anyone? The press? The police?" Elias looked out the window. "Because Red doesn't bluff. If I go public, he burns the whole stage. He wants it private, personal, controlled." Tanner's voice cracked. "So what do we do?" Elias stood. "We finish it." The next morning, Elias disappeared. Tanner found a note on the prep table. "Don't follow. Not yet. This is between old ghosts. Keep the story alive. Make sure they remember what this fight is really about." Tanner didn't listen. He tracked the signal Clay found, Red's last known burner, pinged 3 towns east of Stratford. A derelict shipyard. Abandoned. Off the books. Exactly the kind of place someone like Red would wait. Tanner arrived at dusk. The shipyard was silent. Rusted beams creaked in the salt wind. Cranes loomed like dead giants. He crept forward, then froze. A boot print. Fresh. Deep. He followed. Metal stairs. Empty containers. One by one. Until he found it. Elias. Kneeling. Hands bound. Blood on his lip. Breathing but barely. And behind him Dominic Red. Older now. But not weaker. The same dead eyes. "You shouldn't have come," Elias rasped. Tanner stepped forward. "Let him go." Red chuckled. You brought a camera again, boy. Tanner lifted his phone. It was live. Streamed. Millions watching. Red's eyes narrowed. Smart. Tanner raised the volume. Everyone knows now. The truth. About you. What you did. What you are. But Red didn't flinch. He stepped closer to Elias. Pulled a knife. And smiled. They'll remember me for something. Let's see what you're really made of, hero. Suddenly, sirens. Floodlights. Figures moved in from every angle. Clay had traced Tanner's phone. He'd called the cavalry. And for once, they were on time. Red lunged. Tanner tackled him mid-step. The knife skidded. Elias, coughing, broke his bindings with one last push of strength. Chaos. Shouts. 2 shots fired. Then silence. Red was on the ground. Cuffed. Bleeding but alive. Tanner stood over him. Shaking. Elias knelt beside him. Looked Red in the eyes. You lost the war a long time ago, he whispered. Red didn't speak. Didn't have to. The silence was answer enough. 2 weeks later, the final video went up. Not Tanner's first. Not even his best edited. But the most important. It opened with Elias in the hospital. Speaking softly. I was humiliated once. Not because I was weak, but because others forgot what strength looks like when it doesn't shout. Then, Tanner's voice over images of the shipyard. We made a mistake. A terrible one. But we learned that shame can be a beginning, not an end. Elias reminded us what honor really means. A montage followed. Veterans. Care workers. Students. The donations exploded. $47,000 became $100,000. Then more. By the end of the month, a new wing broke ground at the Stratford Veterans Home. Named for Elias. But that wasn't the ending. A year later, Elias stood in front of a crowd. Not just veterans, but teens, children, nurses, strangers who remembered the story, who'd watched the fall and the rise. He held a copy of his memoir, Echoes of Redemption. Behind him a banner, Dignity Never Ages. Tanner stood beside him, now a full-time coordinator for elder care programs. Still filming, still learning, but changed, not rebranded, rebuilt. Because sometimes the deepest scars create the strongest foundations. And the harshest lessons? They echo loudest not in shame, but in what we choose to do after.